If you're important enough to have a day dedicated to you, then I reckon you're right up there. What are we talking about? We're talking about bees. And there's a saying that I read not so long ago that says, when we go, we take you with us. True story. Without the bees, eventually there will be no food, no pollination. In South Africa alone, there are over 2,000 species of bees, of which most of them are actually solitary bees, something that we don't really know about. And solitary bees are very interesting. They're really teeny, wincy little guys. And they're called solitary because the female goes alone and makes her nest. And it's normally in little crevices, little holes, like 2 millimeter to 10 millimeter. So today, in honor of the beautiful bee, we can call her Maya, we are going to make a solitary bee hotel, which is going to be super cool. Now guys, I said this is easy, and it really is. We are making ours out of recycled timber, and I'm sure if you have to go like rummaging around somewhere in the garage, 13th file, you will find pieces that will be able to match this. And it's only 5 pieces, so we're keeping it really simple. Number 1 is the major block. Okay, now in our case, our one is 90 by 85 by 85, all in millimeters. Okay, there it is there. We've got 2 pieces of plank which are for the sides of the walls, and these are really simple, and to make life easier, I've even labeled them. So that's the long wall, that's 100 by 90 by 10, and the short wall is 90 by 85 by 10. Then the last 2 pieces are for the roof. And once again here, this is the long roof. This is 140 by 120 by 20. And the short side is 120 by 120 by 20. First job is to sand our 5 pieces of wood. You can use just an ordinary piece of sandpaper, maybe on a piece of wood, makes it a bit easier. You could use a big guy like this. Or you could simply just use one of these little sponge sanding blocks. I love these things. And all we want to do, give it a sand. Remember, when you're sanding, go with the grain. Don't go that way, this way, this way. And just get to it, sand them through, and you're good to go. Right, now that the sanding is done, just give everything a really good wipe down. Get all the dust off it. And then we're going to start with our little holes for our solitary bees. Now that goes in this big guy, and this is on the length. So there's your length, and just lots of little holes in it, no particular arrangement, and that is going to make our little cavities for where our solitary bees will eventually make their home. Here we're using drill bits from 2 millimeter up to 10 millimeter. When drilling into the block of wood, try and go down at least between 5 and 10 centimeters in depth. Okay, let's clear the deck, because now we're going to get ready for painting. Right folks, so we're only painting these 4 blocks. This guy, your block where your bees need to go into, is not going to be treated. It's treated, not so lacquer for bees. Okay, now what we're going to be using is something called waterborne marine. Now, folks, this is, what I like about it is, number 1, my paintbrush, I can just clean with some lukewarm water. And it's really tough. It dries very, very quickly. And most importantly, it can be used for windows, gates, anything outdoors that you want to last. Importantly, do not shake it. Do not turn it upside down, but simply open it gently and then give it a good stir with the flat paddle. You can see the colors is almost a milky, quite runny, goes a long way. 1 litre tin like this will do about 10 square meters. And because I've only got 4 pieces of wood to paint, I'm not going to be using the whole tin. But what I am going to be adding in is some of this, which is called Woodrock Colors Brights. And it comes in all different colors. So you can get it in red, you can get a lovely blue. I'm going for the yellow, nice and bright, sunshine yellow. So what I am going to do is just, got a little container here. I'm going to empty half of this into here, and you'll get a much better look at the color of this marine water-based sealant. And then give this a good shake. And this is where your creativity can go wild. If you're wanting a paler, you can add only little bits. Of course, I want bright, so I'm going with half of this guy straight into here. That should do it. And then a good stir. Oh, this is so yummy. This is happiness in a jar. Rightio, we are ready. Now, when it comes to painting, good brush, always important, something as an underlay, and then away you go. When painting, work with the grain, folks. Also important that we want to do 3 coats of this. 1 coat is not going to be enough for good, proper sealing and protection against the elements. Once your first coat is on, allow it to dry till touch dry, and then, remember, in between your first and second coats, give it a light sanding with a fine sandpaper. And always remember to dust it off. Whilst we're waiting for that last coat to dry, I want to attach the picture keyhole hanger. Now, what is that? That's this little guy over here, this little gadget. 2 little screws, very simple, guys. This is what the mechanism is going to be that we're going to hook it on wherever we're going to place it. So, nice and easy. Just take a ruler. Remember, it's going to sit at this angle, like at a 45. And just pop it along from corner to corner, and then take this little guy, pop him there in the middle, all right? And then we're just going to trace the outside of it, because we need to know where to drill over there. Plain and simple. And now where that little mark is, we're just going to use a drill and make a couple of holes in there, so whatever we're hanging it on, it's got somewhere to get into. Pop that little guy on the back, and then let's just put him into place. Alrighty, so there's our piece of block. We're going to start gluing it now, and it's really simple, guys. Just pop that on, and because I've written there the long roof, you're not even going to see that. That goes on the underside with a bit of an overlap. He fits in here. Flip it down like that, and that's where we're going to put the glue. And then on he goes. And apply a bit of pressure. And then just the 2 bottom pieces. So that guy sits there and that guy sits there. So, bit of wood glue on. Let's get it into place. So now all you do is leave it to dry. It is optional. You could clamp this if you wanted to, if you wanted it perfect. Oh, mine's looking kind of cute, bit rustic as well.